Right, so 3 seconds in. Right, so intrinsic values of physical education. So we've got a few examples here. So we've got becoming independent, enjoyment, can improve concentration and focus, gain social skills through team activities or whatever, team sports, develop working in teams again through team games, fitness and sense of competition through leagues and everything in that area. So extrinsic values, so we've got benefits to health system, so NHS, community cohesion, so opportunities around them areas, so through your roads or your areas you can get competitions going, job opportunities, so volunteering, sense of competition as a group, so again we've got on the other slide as an individual, again we've got it as competition, so extrinsic value of that might be winning awards or winning money or something like that. And social inclusion. So why sport for all? So we believe sport for all is fair because it's got quality. Quality means that it targets everyone, hence the word sport for all. So all areas, so disabilities, genders, ages, anyone is targeted, so there's an opportunity for everyone. Development of sports, so we've got more opportunities to different sports, so swimming or things they might not have a lot of opportunities for sport for all, try and make them get more facilities in their area, so it's easy for them to access. And a healthy nation, so obviously mentally as well it's healthier, so when you're exercising it releases endorphins which makes you feel better, feel a sense of satisfaction when you're doing it, and also you're losing weight and you're not getting obese and stuff. Sport for all, so if it wasn't sport for all we may not be here now, so we've used the example at Lionel Messi. So on this picture he's circled out, that's Lionel Messi, so what our point is you're not born an elite athlete, so you've got to start somewhere. So we're saying that it's Lionel Messi probably at the foundation or participation stage. So yeah, so benefit sport for all, so economic, health benefits, social benefits, development of sports, job opportunities and many more. So yeah. Yeah, that's our open speech.
Yeah,
you do your open speech time.
No problem.
So we have a cycle of sport, which you can have a look at in a second, which basically it's got 3 stages that are all in a cycle. It starts with number 1, which is elite success, which says that it leads to increased participation, so that's sport for all, increased participation, so Messi might have joined that young team and got involved in sport through seeing elite success, that's what we're saying. Elite, and then increased participation leads to a healthier and wider pool for talent, which then leads to more elite success, and so on, it follows on. The cycle of sport holds that elite success on the international stage leads to prestige, and the elite sport contributes to a collective sense of identity. This then boosts a greater mass sport participation, leading to a healthier population. This then in turn provides a bigger pool for talent, from which the elite stars of the future, and which ensures elite success. The process then starts all over again.
Okay, that open speech.
Okay,
Alright. Do you want to present your main findings then?
right. Yeah, you start off. Good.
I looked into the PPF, which is the Professional Players Federation, which sort of take care and teach sort of elite sportsmen and women in the UK about the importance of mental well-being, consequences of gambling, drugs, and lots of other things. And what I found was that they only actually dealt with 17,500 people, which when you compare that to the rest of the population, it's less than 0.03% of the population. So why would it be focused on that minute percentage of the UK population when there's the rest of us to go around? There's more than 99% that are being, if you were to think of it as just looking at sporting excellence, over 99.9% of the population are being thrown away and not cared about.
Are they being thrown away though? Because they're media.
Okay, you can't respond.
No.
Yeah, no. You can say it, write it down. Ask him
Well, it's sort of looking into helping that very elite few, less than 18,000 people, when there's 64.1 million people in the UK, and I think that's wrong.
They're not being given the same opportunities is what we're saying.
Anyone wants to jump in?
Well, I
I looked into Olympic funding for 2016 Olympics, and I looked at what sports were getting most funding, and I found sports like canoeing, equestrian, rowing and sailing were ones getting main amount of funding. When you think about it, here in Barnsley, where can you go canoeing? Where can you take part in equestrian, rowing or sailing? So it's not really an opportunity for everyone to have a go at that if you want to go into elite sport. So I did look, so if you did want to go into canoeing, the closest one to Barnsley is you have to pay £200 just for a bog standard canoe. So it's going to, not a lot of people are going to be able to afford it. Equestrian, I looked into that. Closest one to Barnsley is Rockley Club, and that's not cheap. If you're just wanting to have a go, it's £30 an hour. So some people aren't going to be able to afford that. And another thing about Olympics, in 2012, they stated that they wanted London to become one of the healthiest sporting capitals in the world, but yet 3 years later on in 2015, UK is ranked 21st healthiest country in the world by World Health Organization, so that just like shows you we've not really improved that much anyway.
Right, so a point I've found is anti-crime through youth people. So this is targeted by Sports for All. So effects of crime through youth. So this particular topic has many effects on the people involved, like for example the people that are committing the crimes, but also massive effect on social cohesion that we've already talked about. And a way to stop crime is through sport. So cost of crime in Britain in 2010, according to Prince's Trust and RBS, the cost of youth crime in Britain has risen sharply to 1.2 billion a year due to more youngsters being imprisoned and damages from antisocial behaviour. So what we believe can be done is it's an unrealistic claim to claim that organised youth sport alone can reduce the levels of youth in society. But the causes of youth crime are complex and multidimensional. But we believe organised sport programmes can, however, contribute to reducing crime by giving young people positive identity and feelings. So this was said by Jamieson and Ross in 2007. So they said a few things that I would tell. So it meets a need that youth have for excitement. It makes young people feel empowered. Increases feeling of connectedness, raises teamwork, as we've already said, is good for development in sport, and provides positive role models. So I found several studies that have demonstrated that youth sport does prevent youth crime. So in 1996 in Kansas City, evening and midnight basketball programs were brought in. Programs have reduced the crime rate among African American youth. And according to Kansas City Police, 2 years later, there was 1/3 to 2/3 reduction in juvenile crimes in that area.
I just want to jump off something that Alex mentioned then, that I looked at the CASE programme, which is led by the Department of Culture, Media and Sport in the UK, which the CASE programme just has 12,000 pieces of research to look through based on media and sport. And one thing that they looked into was the returns on investments in sports programmes for at-risk youths. And it said that for every £1 spent, the savings through not having to do with police work, criminal justice system and community, that makes savings are £7.35 for every £1 spent. And that shows the sort of economic growth that we can achieve by looking at helping those at-risk youths.
Carrying on with Alex's points about crime, I found a boxing academy in Tottenham that takes in offending youths, and it costs half as much as a pupil referral unit, which is a centre for children who are unable to attend mainstream schools or special schools. And in addition to the project's success, the report also found that every £1 invested in the boxing academy, society benefited from the return of 3. This comes from a higher average of future earnings for participants, but also from reduced crime rates in the area too.
Just say, in your opening statement you said someone like Lionel Messi might look to they might have got into football looking at elite sport like being influenced, but I found a document created by Mail Online, and it provided statistics on the amount of school kids that quit sport after school. Study by the country's leading medic discovered that 70% of school leavers gave up all sport. So surveyed more than 3,000 children also showed how less than half are spending recommended minimum 2 hours in a week in PE. So it just shows you like elite athletes might not have that much of an influence in people carrying on sport and taking it on.
Right.
Check it out.
Yeah, I've got another 2 points, I think. Oh, yeah, right, to go through.
Yeah.
That's alright, that's alright. Wait.
Right, so inactivity causes, so effects, I'll show you these pictures if that's alright. So we've got some pictures here, so this is showing percentage of people that are older that aren't getting involved in sport. So how we believe this can be changed is by, because obese people feel it's sometimes hard to get involved in sport once they've got to a certain level, so we believe that funding in this area can not only save NHS the money, as it's already said that 542 million a year is spent by NHS on heart disease and diabetes. So a way that we think this can be changed is by funding more things like the camp, which is done in Scotland. So it's aimed at women. It is a week programme where they are given meals and a strict programme. For example, they do a lot of swimming and a lot of sit-ups and stuff like that. Their aim, what it says on a leaflet I found, it says we will help you safely achieve rapid weight loss, improve muscle tone and improve health and fitness. But a negative I found is that they only run camps in Scotland, Spain and a little bit in England. There's not really any close to here. So the camp also costs £400, which might also put people off. But what we believe is if more camps like this get more funding, then we can make that cheaper. So it's more, it allows more people to get involved, and also we can get more of these camps, so it's easier access for people. So there's not one in here for miles. So if there's one a lot closer to people, then you'll get more people involved, which this funding will bring down that number that NHS is spending, but it might like equal itself out. You know, if they're saving money at NHS, then the money they are saving can be spent towards these camps.
Okay. Guy? Next group, guys. Yeah.
Well, first of all, we've got like sport excellence versus sport for all. It's like where a state sector ed teacher needs to stop treating competitive sports as like an optional extra. That's what Ofsted is saying. In a report commissioned after the 2012 Olympics, he argued that too many top athletes are from private schools. Schools where pupils lack opportunity to excel in sports also tend to do worse academically, according to the report. And then the report, going the extra mile, excellence in competitive school sport, was commissioned after the London Games to explore why so many Team GB athletes have been educated in private rather than state schools. And then it found unacceptable discrepancies where fewer than 1 in 10 pupils in England attended fee-paying schools, but privately educated athletes were the majority of players. In rugby union's English Premiership and more than a third in top-level cricket. So basically saying that we are surrounded by like elite athletes, but a lot of them end up going to like private schools because they've got more opportunities there. So it's not exactly sport, it's sport excellence for like those that are willing to try hard.
We've got a point as well on you made a point about there being more funding and it helping obesity and stuff like this. But you said that you can believe that it can change, but what evidence do you have that sport participation alone through funding helps health? You didn't have any stats or figures on whether it actually does change it. James Hunt from the Culture Secretary of UK Sport said, while it's unbelievably important to get young people playing more sport, it's not something the government can solve on their own through funding. It's about parents wanting people to get off the sofa and get active. It's about the culture and values inside schools. It's not just about the funding. Like, you can give schools loads of funding, but whether their values and culture inside that school promote them to do more activity, how do you know the funding is actually going to help them increase their health and stop obesity? We got another quote from Lord Coe, the organising committee chairman of London 2016. 2012 Olympics.
It says that you can never spend too much on elite sport. It will always be the greatest driver of sporting participation, and we should be unashamed about that. Those British moments, those international moments that we've seen in those venues will do more than anything else to inspire people to take up sport.
Just on Billy's point as well about after the Olympics it not really having much improvement and not doing like a great lot. I found some statistics that currently 15.3 million people play sport once a week, every week. This is an increase of 1.4 million since London first won the bid to host the Olympic Games. The Games had an effect and continue to leave a lasting legacy to both elite and grassroots levels. The year after the Olympics, Sport England promised to provide 493 million in grassroots funding between 2013 and 2017, and this is exactly the same as what the government have promised elite sport, so there's no difference. Elite sport aren't getting any more money, and that's a start. Like the government have said that they promise both grassroots levels and elite sport the exact same amount. And I found with over, I broke it down, the 493 million in grassroots. With over 150,000 clubs in the UK, on average, each club would receive 3,286 across 4 years. So the clubs that, like you said about, I can't remember, canoeing or something, or kayaking or whatever it was, if there's a club that at grassroots level someone can join, then they are actually getting funding from the government anyways. So if they need help funding equipment and stuff, then it is actually being provided. I found a table as well about funding for, in 2014, funding for sports clubs and their donations. It's not just through government, other people are actually donating money to these sorts of things. So indoor sports had 4,487 supporters that donated £42,000. On average, each supporter raised £10. So £10 for 4,487 supporters just given to indoor sports at grassroots level. And then it continues, it talks about ball sports, outdoor, cricket, football, rugby, academies and swimming. And they're all over £10,000.
I looked at two case studies really. The first main one's like, because it's sport excellence, the main example in England is World Cup. The year we won World Cup was when we actually focused on the elite performers. Yeah, it affected the next generation a little bit, but it's one of our greatest moments in history, and it's kind of, when you focus on them to achieve something, it kind of, in essence, it brings out more of the country, because then they're like, I want to be the next one.
You don't have money sense.
I don't know. No, but the year that we actually focused on the sport excellence is when we did it. The years that's when we did it. It was about 7 to 8 or so. And then in the other thing I looked at was university, because we've got a lot of, you look at scholarships, and that's elite performance they get scholarships. It goes across all, goes across the world really, especially the American scholarships and all that. And I think that's a good thing, because that once again, it's like those that are willing to put the effort in are reaping the rewards, but then people are complaining, oh yeah, you're just a good performer, so why do you say that? But if you're trying hard to achieve, you're going to it. You should get them rewards.
I found something that said that obviously all your new facilities and new equipment wouldn't be funded and brought if it weren't for such big sporting events. So for example, like Olympics, Commonwealth Games, even British Open golfing, all of which bring money into the UK, which obviously sets up and opens new opportunities for your sports for all. This is why you could argue that sports excellence tends to cater for your sport for all.
And just adding to that point as well, I got some statistics from Guardian that they produced about the Olympics and bringing in money. Hotels were 84% full, restaurant spending was up by 20%, and nightclub income was 24% up. So London got loads of money from the Olympics, and that money is catering for Sport for All for their equipment. If there's no end product, then why would they give equipment and funding to Sport for All if there's no end product to continue that funding for Sport for All?
Alright, anyone find this? Alright, we'll do judge questions and then we'll do audience questions first.
So now, if you want us to, I'm ready.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, right. To be honest, it's a kind of question for you both, so I'm going to ask you separately. Start with you guys. You throw in a lot of facts and figures about. Have you got like a reference base that we look at and see where you've actually got that information from? That's fine. No worries. Right, Sport for All. Obviously, you mentioned cycle for sport. Did you? I'll have you. Okay, I'll come back to that. Obviously, you mentioned about your opening kind of statements about Sport for All and getting people involved and obviously the benefits of doing so. And you said that's important. Why after years and years of it being brought up, is there no or very little coverage of women's sport and women's activity? It's all dominated by males. So like how has Sport for All made a difference in increasing that or trying to increase that? It's still not there, is it?
It's a gradual process. I think it can't all happen overnight because if I was a TV company broadcast programme about something that hasn't got such a huge following, which you see with lesser sports not getting the huge following, such as like a bobsleigh or that's not going to get broadcast as much. Maybe on a lesser known channel because they're not going to get the money back from it.
Surely they've got to actually show it for people to get that interest.
The problem with is broadcasters. There's not as much money in women's sport. See, says like Sky Sports when they put Premier League football on men's, it's because that generates most money. If there's not enough money being generated in women's game, broadcasters aren't really interested in showing it.
Is that because they're not showing it? Because they need to show it for people to get that interest.
Yeah.
So like is Sport for All doing anything to kind of focus on?
As it's coming in more, how are we going to say that the previous Women's World Cup that was broadcast wildly over BBC and it got such a huge following, now it got quite a lot of sort of social media response. People sort of enjoying it in that sense. I think it is growing and there's more and more sort of international games being shown on telly as well. That's when you look at golf, there's quite often cases of the LPGA tournaments being broadcast as well, and so it's coming in more. But it is a gradual process. It can't just happen overnight because a TV company can't go in and just do something straight away and then lose so much money because it won't get that much viewing figures. So I think they're just doing it gradually over time.
Okay. Can I have as many questions as I want?
Yeah.
No, that's fine. That's fine. You half answered my question. I'm happy with that. Right. Obviously, obesity, we actually news of the day, it's still increasing, isn't it? So, like, what influences that? What can Sport for All do further to kind of to reduce it or stop it from increasing? Or
can teach those people who are obese the risks that they are sort of taking by being overweight, obese, and because it would what 20
who are they teaching or where are they teaching?
One of the local facilities are sending out pamphlets that can do that.
Schools and stuff.
Yeah,
so
either because there's a new development in my sort of local area and pamphlets around with
have you got any examples?
benefits.
Have you got any examples of
I haven't got a pamphlet now. But just saying that a few basic health benefits that can arise from joining these local facilities.
It'd be nice to see some evidence.
No, because I've got a quick question on that. You said in you've got it, Alex, actually. You talked about health a little bit, and to build on Rob's, there were no facts and figures, and I just wanted to quietly query those facts and figures in terms of how much you think physical activity and Sport for All is the only contributing factor. So how can I take those facts? Why is it a contributing factor? Is it the most influential factor, or is the other factors? Because I could argue, for instance, that contributing factors to physical, to CHD, coronary heart disease, could be health, could be diet, and how does that impact, how does sport for all impact on that?
Structuring lads.
So why is it sport for all would benefit?
Yeah, so you're saying that it does benefit, you know, it does reduce, but how does it reduce these diseases? What's its links? Or is it just a overriding statement? I could, you know, those figures could be anything. Those diseases could be contributed by the main diet, could be contributed by stress levels. So why would sport for all health help reduce those chances? And I'm being you a bit of lifeline that we go in.
Again, going back to schools, so
Yeah.
if it's going into schools, you can learn from an early age, like, what's better to eat, what's not good to eat, and then things such as, like, what sports they can do, like, after school clubs, or, like, the way that they get fed at school, like, this is like, if Sport for All came in and meant these sort of programs, people, then they would be more educated, and then later on in life, they think, like, it's more a way of life, rather than changing, like, the way that they eat when they get older and stuff like that. So it's just mainly education with the way that they eat.
Alright, that's fine. Do you want to ask me over as well?
Not for.
Alright, do you want to ask
Yeah, I think it was Kira that said, I assume it was obviously some information from the both of you. You said that, can you just clarify this point, that elite sport doesn't receive more money from Sport England than grassroots sport, is that right?
Yeah, they get the same amount.
They get the same amount. What are the numbers again?
They get 493 million funding over 4 years, over a 4-year period.
Right,
And the
okay.
government promised
So
that.
Sport England provide equal amount of funding to elite sports development and excellence programs
Yeah.
as they do to wider sports participation / sports law. Is that right? Does that include the money that might come directly from UK sport? Because obviously UK sport and Sport England are different bodies and different organisations.
I didn't look into UK sport, it's just
Well,
Sport England.
I just wonder whether that might be important, bearing in mind UK sport are the governing body that fund elite sports development, as opposed to Sport England that are involved in the funding for participation in grassroots sport. So it's not really a fair comparison. But if you could have told me that it didn't include that, or it did, then that would have been useful. I mean, it's important to understand the difference between the funding arrangements for sport in the UK.
I think them figures are what the government promised. I
Right.
think Sport England were the ones that promised 493 million in grassroots.
Yeah.
And then the government actually said that they were going to match that for elite sports. It didn't actually come directly from Sport England. It came from the government.
I believe it. Not sure people would. There we go.
Got the last one to Joe. You made a link to from performance and excellence to academic performance.
Yeah.
How was that link made? So how does participating in sport improve your academic performance?
Well, normally it's just like learning to it, but I think if people that like actually get to that elite level, they've got to push themselves even further, like except for like a graduate degree, that scholarship.
Okay.
You need to get like so many like GCSEs and like qualificational whatever in it, and all your like grades and that to progress.
So what traits are developed by sport that could map across to physical education?
Like your tenacity and all that.
Alright. Anything else?
Like genuine, just like personal like belongings and that, like how you believe, personal beliefs, like confidence. Like confidence in that, so you believe in yourself and that. It's just making yourself motivated, confidence and tenacious.
Okay. Alright.
Yeah. Joe, you mentioned about in 1966 when England won the World Cup,
Yeah.
it would focus more towards elite performance, and that's what it should be now. Where's your evidence for that?
I got any evidence, but like I knew from.
You got no evidence?
You knew from
How did you know if you got no evidence?
From like what we were doing, I think we were doing current issues in college.
You think? Or
Yeah, it was current issue. there were current issues we were doing, and we looked upon like when people focused on the elite forms and that, and I think it was during the 60s, 70s.
Alright, audience, do you want to ask any questions?
Just on top of what Rob said, Joe, you spoke about like a case study about universities as well. Have you got any evidence or proof about that case study?
I came in this one, I said I forgot my notes, so
Well, let you off when it's true. Right.
believe it.
A point on there that women's football were not as popular as men's by this group here. I've got figures here that during Women's World Cup, the most watched football game ever in the United States was USA when they beat Japan, which met current record when the USA men's team beat Portugal. What are both organisations doing about this if you're saying women's football is not as popular? If you're receiving all this funding, why is it not being put into women's sport?
So when you look at it in a bigger picture sort of thing, women's football is only one category of several amount. Like, if you think about sport for all, I'd say that women's football sort of is sporting excellence as well in effect. So that's only one area that, when you put it in perspective of a load of other things, it's not just like football, there's all these other different sports, all these little small communities that need to be built up, and all these lessons that need to be learned about health and socio-economic benefits as well. But if you're looking at that, it is just a gradual change in perceptions, I think, because as it's more known as, in the past it was sort of thought as women's, typical housewife sort of thing, but now as society changes, so does the perceptions of women's sport as well. So I think it's just a change over time and will come into effect in the future that women's sport is thought of as and is broadcast as widely as male participation in sport.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point there as well. Does anybody know what the fastest growing participation sport in the UK is? Female football. So is that a victory for elite sports programs, or is it a victory for sport for all? That's the interesting question. But female football is the fastest growing participation sport in the UK. So in terms of your slow burn,
Plus it was only 6 months ago, wasn't it, like the World Cup. There's not going to see millions and millions and millions of more women getting involved in it being all on TV in the space of however many last summer. It's not going to see that massive increase.
So
It's going to take a few years to reach a higher level.
I've got another question for this group. You spoke about anti-crime. Obviously sport for all is like something that's happening in the UK. The case study you got, midnight basketball, obviously reduced anti-crime, but that was in the US. Have you got any proof that it's impacting anti-crime in the UK?
I know of a case study, but I don't have it on my notes exactly right now. I know there's a case study that's known as street sport in Stoke-on-Trent, and that is very similar to the midnight basketball thing in the sense that it's not just basketball being played, it is a variety of sports, and it's not just the sport that's being taken into context, it's also the lessons of how to benefit yourself and the community as a whole. By getting, the main outcomes were that they were getting off the street corners that were sort of taking communities down and improving it, by thinking that the elder generation weren't intimidated by the young kids hanging around on street corners, because they were away doing sports with their friends and also learning about academic classes and sort of personal growth lessons as well.
Right, then we'll go quickly into questions. Right, so you can go first. You can ask a question of this group.
Right, I've got a question. So you talk about all this money that you talked about with World Cup. So you talk about all this money that gets pumped into elite football because of the World Cup, but then you also said that this will create more, create all this success after the World Cup. But if all this money's then getting pumped into that level, for that elite level, yeah, but then years after it, England didn't win anything. Do you not think that that money should have been pumped into like sort of the foundation and participation level, so you get more?
Next generation.
Yeah, so finding the next generation rather than pumping money into generation now that's then going to then fade away. But if that generation's faded away and you've got no generation coming through, then there's going to be a lack of progress.
Because like we came, like we said earlier, like because I don't think that should be done because there's only there's 15.3 million people who play sport once a week, every week, so that's like not enough support, is it really? If you want to be an elite player, if you want all that funding in, what's the point if they're only going to do it once a week? Yeah, it is an increase in 1.4 million since London, but it's still just what, how many did you say in UK? 70 million, did you say earlier?
64.1.
Yeah, so you've got like 15.3 million, like that. Which, yeah, you're not going to get all country, but at least one majority. And then going on to why we should keep on funding onto sport excellence a bit, the cycles said that in our opening statement, that elite success like kind of increases participation at younger levels, it increases identification. So then that means that the better players there are that are around that you can watch, the more like inspiration you've got. So you kind of want to like mirror them, like look up to them and that.
So like you said, with creating the next generation of footballers, because we were talking about World Cup, that elite success leads to increased participation, because we did have figures on that it increased by 1.4 million after such as the Olympics. I'm assuming it did increase, participation in football would have increased after the success of the World Cup. That increased participation then leads to a healthier and wider pool of talent, which then leads to more elite success and more players wanting to become successful in that sport.
Yeah, but especially in the 60s, if you're pumping all this money into elite performers, then you're saying that it should inspire people. In the 60s, there's not going to be enough facilities or resources for everyone to think, oh, I was football training tonight with mates, because they won't have been that facilities for everyone. So if then you're talking about them pumping money into that level, yet the people at foundation participation level haven't got enough chances or opportunities to go and then train and be inspired, like you're saying, then how is that generation then come through?
That's in 1966, did you say? But as I said earlier, the elite Sport England have promised 493 million in grassroots funding, and the government have promised elite sport exactly the same. They're not giving elite sport any more than what they are grassroots. So if the people at grassroots want to go to these venues now, this day and age, they can't, because there's actually
And going on from what you said about sports development, what actually happening for grassroots at the same time, because funding were getting pushed in from elite clubs and that and the government to get more training facilities. I think they pushed it up from like 4 or 6 to about 70 or about 80.
Okay, do you want to ask your question?
It's just a general question, really. It's not even anything to do with statistics or anything that you've produced. It's just what encourages kids to continue participating in sport. Is it health, fitness, or is it success? So kids at school, they're not really interested in health and fitness. Their participation in sport is mainly through success. And we're just wondering, where do they find out about that success? That's through media of elite athletes. So their continued participation in sport is because of the success that they've seen of elite athletes. So how do they know about the end product of the success they can have? That's through the media of elite athletes. That's where the increased participation is coming from. Where do they get the information and motivation to continue participating? Again, it's from the media. If they do not want to succeed or participate for health and fitness, then why would we put money into sport for all if there's no end product? If they're not going to be putting the money back in by becoming an elite athlete and being at the top level, then we're spending money on kids that are just doing once a week or whatever for nothing.
Well, I think one of the main problems is there's not opportunities for kids to do it, like you say. Success, well, London 2012 sailing team, they got a gold medal, I believe they did, didn't they? Sailing.
Sailing anyone?
We better have 9% somebody camera.
Is that what you call it? Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure they get a gold medal, but they ain't a sailing club in Barnsley, so how can they get into it if they think an opportunity? Like, closest one I found, in Huddersfield, and that's like it's not exactly close, is it? You're gonna have to do a bit of travelling to get there.
I was hoping to come on that as well. If you're saying that they need to understand the health and lifestyle benefits of keeping fit to be, in order to be successful, and that's where they can learn it through schools. Well, I wanted to add to that wrong, but I mean, I want to add that on part of that. You were saying that they get the motivation to carry on through successive things. Well, if they only base it off of success, then they're not being taught about the diet, repeated training, which is something that can get taught through sports clubs and schools, which is sort of coming under the umbrella of sport for all. So if they just base it off success, when you watch a football match, you don't get told about all the hard work they've got to put into it. You only get to see the end result. So if you only base it off that, you might only do one a week, like you were saying. But if you get that added influence of schools and local teams telling you that you need to work harder, then they will have the motivation to carry on, and really see it as a more realistic way to get there by putting the hard work in that they're being told about.
But that's what I was saying, that the success actually leads to them participating more if they want to reach that level. So like, from a personal perspective, if I'm seeing someone succeed a lot that I know has practiced a lot, then I'm going to continue doing that. It's not the health benefits of that person, it's not the things that I've been taught, it's the success that they've had that makes me want to participate and want to succeed. It's not the fact that I'm going to be healthy and fitness and there's no money involved, I just want to be healthy and fit. Why pump all that money into my sport if I just want to do that? Like, it's from the people that are becoming elite athletes that people want to continue participating. Like, people want to be footballers because they see Messi, not because he's healthy and fit, not because they're being taught about health and fitness. It's about their success.
The first stage that you actually get interested in the sports that you like is from watching it as a kid anyway, so you look up to them. So that's like, in essence, you wouldn't actually be interested in that sport if it weren't for an elite performance from original stage.
I think one of the things you're saying is, in sports like football, and yeah, there's lots of role models in football, but in other sports like, I don't know, like gymnastics or something like that, I don't think, like cycling even, there's not like that much interest in it.
Yeah, but there's like, obviously, like role models, there's Chris Eye, there's Wiggins, there's
maybe sports like like equestrian, like, could you tell me someone?
what Prince weren't it? Princess were doing it for World Cup.
Okay, right, then we'll finish with your final statements. If you've got anything left to say, you've got a minute or so to say.
No, that's fine.
Just start first.
I think that funding should definitely be more. Well, it's everything around should be prioritised in sport for all. If you look at sporting excellence, something we've not discussed yet is something that is a wildly something that needs to be changed quickly is a sort of racism in sport. We haven't cut on anything like that, but if you only base it on sporting excellence, most of the racial abuse that is around now is from the stands. And people who are in the stands aren't elite athletes, they are people who take part in sport or learn through sport at a much lower level. And if you get taught, the PPF programme is on about helping professional athletes and making them understand the sort of consequences of misbehaviour, but there ain't much about that for those who aren't elite athletes. So it's sort of a detriment to society if we don't look at the lower end of things and sort of treat those people around there.
Okay, right. Final statement.
So we'll just finish with, again, the stats and figures. So the money that was brought in from the Olympics was with the 84%, 20%, 24% increase in restaurants and stuff like that. It brought in money. The increase of 1.4 million since London, and that's based on the fact that there was more elite athletes. It's increased participation. And the quote that I got from James Hunt, Culture Secretary of UK Sport, basically, while it's unbelievably important to get young people playing more sports, it's something the government can't solve on their own. They can't solve it on their own. They're giving the same funding to grassroots as they are elite performers. It's about the parents wanting to get their kids off the sofa and get active. It's about the culture and values inside school. It's not just about the funding. Like the funding for Sports for All is actually there, but they can't really sort of control what the teachers are teaching. They can't control what the parents are doing at home with the kids, and that's what's influencing